ABC News Close-Up will continue in a moment.
Lysergic acid diethylamide. LSD. It is colorless, tasteless, odorless. One of a whole family of hallucinogens, both natural and synthetic, that includes STP, iodine, mescaline, psilocybin. LSD is the most powerful of all. Known as acid, a single ounce is capable of producing 300,000 so-called trips, characterized by hallucinations, illusions, distortions of perception, and thinking. That's LSD. That's acid.
LSD is very unusual that under carefully controlled scientific research circumstances, it can tell us an enormous amount about the mind, about using the mind or creating it without drugs.
Millions of words have been written and spoken about it. Laws have been passed against it. Cults have sprung up around it. Individuals using it have experienced hope, suffering, tragedy. But for all the controversy, what is known today about LSD is fragmented, not altogether. The discoverer, Dr. Albert Hofmann, had experienced symptoms remarkably similar to those now occurring in the tiny village.
I noted with dismay that my environment was undergoing progressive change. I had the greatest difficulty in expressing myself. My visual fields wavered. I was overcome by a fear that I was going crazy.
At first, LSD-induced psychosis set off a flurry of laboratory tests.
We're studying the effects of hallucinogenic drugs, LSD and mescaline, on behavior of rats. Now we're giving them the LSD. We're going to see its effects on the behavior. Our ultimate goal is our understanding of why they do certain things to human behavior. There seems to be an interaction between the effects of the drug and stress, which fits in what we know about the effects of hallucinogenic drugs in respect of good and bad trips. When you give a large dose of either mescaline or LSD, one of the things that you notice, it produces catatonic behavior. Like this animal had a large dose of LSD. You can see how relaxed he is, swimming around. The difference between a rat without any hallucinogen. One of the main things, you put him in a very bizarre posture and he stays there. It's not true for a normal animal. Now he's fighting and struggling, this animal just stays there. They call it catatonia.
Catatonia is often observed in schizophrenics, as are hallucinations. As small amounts of LSD provoke similar reactions in normals, it began to be speculated that in certain individuals, their bodies were generating either this chemical or one much like it, and that the presence of it was crude in schizophrenia.
After several years of research, we have found out that there were definitely more differences than similarities between the LSD reaction and schizophrenia.
Dr. Stanislav Braun, born and raised in Czechoslovakia, today heads up research at Maryland Psychiatric Research Center.
Our present opinion about LSD is that LSD is something like an amplifier or catalyst, which just manifests the unconscious processes in the brain.
We began our LSD research early 1960. And it began as a very unusual program, a program to research the influence of unusual psychedelic drugs on normal people. How did these drugs influence the psyche of the unconscious? What did it tell us about the inner space of normal people?
Dr. Jean Houston, with her husband, Dr. Robert Masters, directs New York City's Foundation for Mind Research. They were among the first to use LSD as a means of probing psychic depth. And in this simulated case, she shows how the drug worked as a tool for mental research.
And of course, research requires a great deal of preparation and control. All of our subjects were first medically screened and they were psychiatrically screened because we were dealing with what is termed normal. We discovered that there were suitable voltage definite levels of excitement which emerged over the course of the 10 or 14 hours of the LSD.
When we experience the world around us, we identify with the subject, the knower. We don't identify with what we see. But as a matter of fact, if there is nothing seen, there is no experience of a seer. If there is no seer, there is no experience of anything seen. They both go together in the same way as black and white. And this idea that the yes and the no, the black and the white, the insides of a class, say we draw a square representing fundamentally the idea of a class. I can't have a square which doesn't have both inside and outside. They go together. Although this is often translated void, it means that the inside of the square cannot exist, is void without the outside, the subject without the object, the black without the white. This, of course, is represented in this fundamental Chinese figure of the yang, or positive principle, and the yin, or the negative principle, like two fishes, constantly circulating, going round and round and round and round in the alternations of life. Now, the question is, are these two fishes involved in a fight? Is the white one eating up the black one? The black one trying to eat up the white one? If that is the situation, then of course, life is fundamentally nothing but grim conflict. If this one up here is the good fellow, this one is the bad fellow, if this is order, this is chaos, then if fight goes on between them, that's largely the way in which our technology has interpreted man's situation as against nature. This is man, the white, the good fellow. This is nature, the dark, the bad fellow. And the white one's got to eat him up. But what happens if the white fish succeeds in eating up the dark? The white fish disappears as well as the dark fish, because the white one is only there in relation to the dark. So then, if these two fishes, as it were, wake up, if this one wakes up, this one wakes up, which is called awakening, they realize they're one. In other words, they go together. They're inseparable from each other. And this realization is that experience, this sudden dawning on our consciousness that life is not really a contest to make yes triumph over no, to make positive triumph over negative. The two sides go together, and then one sees in this strange way that underlying all that is negative in the world, all that is in a way painful and evil, there is a kind of necessity. It goes with the good. It is necessary for it. Disorder is necessary for the manifestation of order, just as you must have, say, a black background to show up a light figure. And then when one sees that, a profound transformation takes place in one's attitude to the world.
We therefore developed this curious thing. We developed a thing which is called an ego. Now I've got to be very clear to you what I mean by an ego. An ego is not the same thing as a particular living organism. For my philosophy, the particular living organism, which is inseparable from a particular environment, that is to say, from the universe as centered here and now, is something real. It isn't a thing. I call it a feature of the universe. But what we call our ego is something abstract, which is to say, it has the same order and kind of reality as an hour, or an inch, or a pound, or a line of longitude. It is for purposes of discussion. It is for convenience. In other words, it is a social convention that we have what is called an ego. But the fallacy that all of us make is that we treat it as if it were a physical organ, as if it were real in that sense, when in fact it is composed, on the one hand, of our image of ourselves, that is our idea of ourselves, as when we say to somebody, you must improve your image. Now, this image of ourselves is obviously not ourselves, any more than an idea of a tree is a tree, any more than you can get wet in the word water. And to go on with, our image of ourselves is extremely inaccurate and incomplete. Would that some got the gifted ears to see ourselves as others see us. We don't. So my image of me is not at all your image. And my image of me is extremely incomplete in that it does not include any information to speak of about the functioning of my nervous system, my circulation, my metabolism, my subtle relationships with the entire surrounding human and non-human world. So the image I have of myself is a character. It is arrived at through mainly my interaction with other people who tell me who I am in various ways, either directly or indirectly. And I play about with what their picture is of me, and they play something back to me so that we set up this conception. And this started very, very early in life. And I was told, you see, and you were told, that we must have a consistent image. You must be you. You have to find your identity in terms of image. And this is an awful red herring. A lot of the current quest for identity among younger people is a search for an acceptable image. What role can I play? Who am I in the sense of what am I going to do in life? And so on. Now, while that has a certain importance, if it's not backed up by deeper matters, it's extraordinarily misleading. So therefore, on the one hand, there is this image, which is intellectual, emotional, imaginative, and so forth. Now, we would say, I don't feel that I am only an image. I feel there's something more real than that, because I have a sense of there being a particular sort of, how do we say, a center of something, some sort of sensitive core inside the skin. And that corresponds to the word I. Let's take a look at this. Because the thing that we feel as being myself is certainly not the whole body. Because a lot of the body can be seen as an object. In other words, if you stand stretch yourself out, lie on the floor, and turn your head and look at yourself, you know, you can see feet and your legs and all this up to here, and finally it all vanishes, only there's a sort of a vague nose. And you assume you have a head because everybody else does. And you've looked in a mirror, and that told you you had a head, but you could never see it, just like you can't see your back. So you tend to put your ego on the side of the unseen part of the body, the part you can't get at, because that seems to be where it all comes from. You feel it. But what is it that we feel? Because if I see clearly, and my eyes are in functioning order, the eyes certainly are not conscious of themselves. There are no spots of light, no defects, in other words, in the lens or in the retina or in the optic nerves that give hallucinations. So also, therefore, if my ego, my consciousness is working properly, I ought not to be aware of it as something sort of there, as something sort of something there, as something sort of there, as something sort of there, as something sort of something there,